now I have a nice pink drink today. So
a nice pink drink. So what did you pour there, Aaron?
So I poured a tropical fruit drink from our good old sponsors of Spirit Leaf Waterdown. So
you did. Located at, Aaron?
64 Hamilton Street North in Waterdown, Ontario.
Yeah. Alex and his crew got all the CBD and THC that you can sorely need there. Hey, Jer, have you ever been out in that area?
No, I have. Well, okay, I'll say no based on my memory, but there have been some spots in the 90s that kind of got blacked out.
In the Waterdown area?
I could have probably gone through there.
Probably could have. You're going towards Hamilton. You consume some alcoholic beverages, we'll say.
Oh, more than likely. Like I said, the 90s was fun.
It was fun.
Well, I will say, but in support of the Choking Hazard podcast, it is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below the waist grooming champions of the world. Manscaped offers the precision engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped has launched their 4th generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0, and the Weed Whacker. Join 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. With this exclusive offer for you, we got 20% off with free worldwide shipping with the code CHPodcast at manscaped.com. Now, let me tell you one thing. If you want to be as smooth as a dolphin, you're going to want to use this product. I definitely recommend it because you're going to be, just imagine shaving with a sleek, well-designed, optimized trimmer that makes shaving time your most favorite time in the bathroom. This thing's got an LED light. Like I said, if you can do this in the dark, you can make sure that you get it all shaved up and you don't even have to worry about chopping off your nuts. It's going to be great. So remember, your balls will thank you. All right. So 20% off with free shipping with the code CHPodcast at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use that code, unlock your confidence, use it with the right tools to get the job done with Manscaped. Your boys will thank you.
We're not talking about our children either.
Your balls are gonna thank you.
We're talking about your testicles, Jeremy. Your testicles will thank you.
I was kind of worried there for a second.
So, Jeremy, how have you been, my friend? How are things going?
Oh, do you know what? Now that we're able to train legally, awesome.
Legally, we like to underscore legally. That was some of my material for a while. I'm like, how is Spirit Leaf able to operate curbside pickup? It's like I've never thought I'd see the day where jiu-jitsu would go underground and there'd be like this prohibition, and marijuana is now legal.
Yeah. Well, I was still I had my kids. Like my oldest, he's 6'2" now, so I was able to beat him up for a bit. So that was fun.
Yeah, you got older kids.
You have a body. You have a child who's a man. Like he's got a full size grown individual. Like Mike and I are trying to roll with like these little people that don't want to do nothing.
Well, and of course he's my kid, so he likes to goon. He wants to pressure pass. So always fun.
Excellent. So Jeremy, what else has been going on since now you've finally been able to train? You kind of started your own consulting business. You've been kind of running around. So kind of tell us what the story, how things been going throughout obviously the top of the pandemic, but here we are.
Yeah. So first off, starting a business just a couple months before a pandemic, bad timing.
You don't say.
Especially a business where you need to be face to face with people most of the time. Yeah, it was interesting. I think when I started it off, it was just after Worlds, things happened. I thought, okay, I'll go to my own now. This is cool. Let's start my own business. And got everything all set up. Good thing I was still able to train, got rid of some stress, and I was okay, cool. Let's hit the ground running. 2020, here we go. And then 2020 decided to kick me in the nuts. And it was interesting. I think for me, especially the stuff that I do, it was actually good because I was able to change, right? Adapt. If you see, I put stuff on Facebook about Agile and stuff like that. And that sort of adaptation, I think jiu-jitsu helped out with that as well. Like I won martial arts for, I'm not going to say how many decades, but we'll just put the S at the end of the decades. And like you always have to adapt to what's going on around you. So I was able to take my business model and changed it. It was struggled, but it's starting to, even though things are starting to open up, things have also started to pick up too, which is great.
Mm-hmm. So especially kind of like the business that you started, what was it? Is it more like consulting or like?
Yeah, so Agile Consulting, right? So
okay.
I can, what I've been able to do and the way I work on it is when anyone talks about Agile or Agile development, Agile delivery, Scrum, they all think, okay, someone building software. What I do is I can adapt any business model and make them agile.
Okay.
So I was able to focus. So I focus more on the behaviors in the background and not just like, oh, you're running Scrum, which is the framework, right? And that's great. You're running a framework. Good job. But it's not, if you don't have the behaviors in the background, like that framework is just garbage. It's not going to help you anywhere. So I just sit there and I go to organizations and I sit there and say, okay, you guys are doing this suggestion. You should look at doing this, 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 and this. This is what's going to help you. I've already talked to a few CTOs over the past couple of years and just giving them those little hints, and they're already coming back saying, yeah, we're getting shit done now, which is great. I've talked to a marketing department a little while ago. They wanted to change, so I helped them get things all set up. So it's good. And now that I'm getting this kind of movement around, I'm actually starting to I'm seeing consistent work, or sort of consistent work coming in yet. Nothing consistent to the point, but now I think things are going to flow. We're a lot better. Like in the next probably few months, things will be a lot better for everyone.
Yeah. So obviously when you look at like the ideas of obviously like jiu-jitsu, martial arts, the fitness industry, it's a very service-based model, right?
Yep.
So if you're kind of looking at like the industry as a whole, like what do you think is like, if you're kind of like to make businesses better, whether you're, and obviously every business is its own individual thing, but what's kind of like the main kind of thing that you see outside looking in, and like how businesses have to adapt moving forward, especially like a martial arts school or BJJ school?
And we saw most of it happen over the past over the past year and a half, like from an adaptation point of view. Like people were doing Zoom classes. Mike in our school was doing Zoom classes. I think you were doing Zoom classes, or you were putting out videos. And that, I think one of the main thing, like from the fitness industry and everyone else needs to understand is, like, first, don't bitch. Like, there's no point in pissing and moaning about something that goes on that's completely out of your control.
What do you mean? What do you mean online? Like the last year and a half, have you been on social media?
Well, yeah. I try to ignore some of that noise now. Don't
bitch and complain on. So I thought you said do. Okay, sorry.
No, I think overall, right? Like, I've seen too many companies, too many owners and executives like just complain. Like, and I understand. Like, I get it. Like, we all get it. Like, hey, the government came out and said, hey, everyone's shut down. Well, yeah, you can complain to it for a bit, but if you don't look at how you can adapt, then you're going to struggle for a long time to get through with it. Like Jocko's podcast, I listened to that, and I forget what number it was, but it was at the tail end. He does a little speech there, and he says, when someone says something bad to him, he says to him, good, right? And they never understood why he always said good. And it's like, well, good. Okay, you didn't get that job. Good. Now you can work at getting something better, and like stuff like this. So to me, like the businesses that succeeded over the past 18 months are the ones that had that mentality. It's like, okay, good. This happened. How can I change so I can get money to come in? How can I get a cash flow to keep my employees, to have my family survive, like to keep my store, my business, whatever going on. And when you saw those cut businesses, and like you saw that probably, I think everything shut down, what, just before March break in 2020, right?
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
March 16th.
Yeah. And you saw some businesses right away going out curbside, right? It's still like, okay, cool. They can go inside to do the stuff. You order your stuff. Here you go. Like they were doing that. I just read an article about a deep dish pizza place down in Toronto that closed, and they're blaming the government. They're blaming like everyone under the sun. But I took a look at their website and I took a look at how much their pizzas cost. It's like, well, dude, your prices are huge, especially in a market when I can go to 2-for-1 pizza and get a pie for like half the price.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's great that your pizzas are good, but you got to be able to adapt to the market. And that's what I think really will get that success going. Like for you guys as personal trainers, like you guys don't, when you train someone, you don't give them like the exact same, you wouldn't give an 80-year-old lady the same program you would give me, right? You don't have those type of cookie cutters.
What do you mean? I wouldn't?
Maybe you train like an 80-year-old woman. I don't know. I've never trained with you, Jeremy. So
I've trained like an 80-year-old woman myself. Like it's nothing to be ashamed of at times. So sometimes I'm banged up. I'm not feeling great. Maybe I do the 80-year-old woman program. Why?
Well, but you're adapting to, like in that case, then you're adapting. I'm adapting. Like I tore my shoulder, or did something to my shoulder before the third lockdown, before the last lockdown happened. And yeah, like I was doing calisthenics, bodyweight exercises. I had like my kettlebells. I had a whole bunch of stuff, and I was all good to go. But when I tore my shoulder, it's like, shit, okay, I can't lift this 50-pound kettlebell. I can't do push-ups without screaming in pain. So I just started focusing on, okay, I'm going to start doing yoga. I'm going to do like light stretching and get myself up to snuff. So I'm able to adapt, and everyone's been able to. Everyone adapts, and when they see it that fashion, they don't look at it as they're being like they're having that agile behavior, those agile mindsets. They just think, oh, I'm just adapting. Everyone's agile. It's just a matter of how you recognize it.
I think the one thing a lot of people focus on right now, especially the last year and a half, is you'll see a lot of posts on social media or what people are focusing on what they can't do.
Yeah.
And I think they should focus on a lot more on what they can do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. It sucks. I'm in my basement home office. Like actually I have an office now. I was able to make it over the past couple of months, but before, literally my office was the corner of our dining room table. And that was that. Like I sat there every day for a year and let's say 4 months. I think this is when I finally made my office here. But I didn't have an office to go to. I didn't have customers to talk to. So it's like, okay, what do I need to do? It's like, get Zoom. Everyone else got Zoom. What do I need to do? Okay, I need to start connecting with people. Like right now, I connect through a lot of other companies and businesses and executives through LinkedIn. Like I just do a quick search. I find like kind of second, and then I'll just connect with them and say, hey, I'd like to connect with you. Like and I come out and I right off the bat, I say, there's no social events. There's no networking events, and online network events suck. So I want to connect with you. I want to talk with you. And I'm getting like 2 phone calls a week every once in a while talking to people just because I come out like straightforward. And I even when I go in the conversation, like, oh, what's your agenda? Because they see my business, they see my business site, and they think, oh, this is a sales call. And I just come out right. I was like, nope, this is just you and I talking. I build the relationship. Afterwards, they can see what I post, and they come out. I was like, you know what? I am having a problem. Jeremy seems to know his stuff. Let me go talk to him. So that's how I've adapted over the past year and a bit. And it's working. Like you don't know if you don't try, right?
Yeah.
Like when I became a brown belt, unfortunately I didn't work on leg locks until I was a brown belt. and it showed, right?
There's a certain somebody on this podcast who's very well known for spazzing toe holds. The BJJ Fanatics DVD is coming soon.
Yeah,
Spazzing toe holds from all position.
I think it was a race to see who can get a toe hold in the no-gi tournament, and I didn't win.
If it was two horses running, you would be in the glue factory right now.
I'd be. Well, it was funny about that part was when at that tournament I was reffing that day too, and it happened.
Here we go.
And I'm sitting at the med station, and they're putting ice on my foot, and Tony, the head ref, comes by and he looks at me. He's like, "You're reffing in 10 minutes. Go get changed."
That Tony, he's making you work all the time.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Get off your ass.
Yeah.
We're on the OJA's dime right now. I mean, my dime. I mean, the OJA's dime. Let's go.
The OJA has no room for slackers, man. They want to run the show.
Yeah, that's right. And I'm not like, I got up, I reffed. It was fun. I limped around. I think everyone got a good laugh of me trying to figure out how to ref while I was going. Well, my foot was throbbing and things popped in my foot, probably broken. Not saying who could have done it.
Not going to mention any names, but if you go to Spirit Leaf Waterdown and you can get some medicinal
pain medication if you need it.
Get some CBD and I'll be awesome.
Your friend Mary Jane will help you out. They're located at 64 Hamilton Street North. You can use CH Podcast 10 at checkout. You can get yourself 10% off.
Do they deliver to Brampton?
No, you gotta go pick them.
They are available still for curbside pickup, but you can make some in-store purchases now.
Oh, right.
I think like you were saying, especially when we looked at like businesses learning how to adapt and build from especially like a thing like COVID. And then obviously like a lockdown that lasted close to like 18 months. I think it really came down to like, okay, who was able to figure out how to really adapt to keep their businesses afloat? Unfortunately, some of them were not able to do that. And maybe they even tried because they're like, look at the balance sheet, and it really became like a numbers game. And it's like, no, this isn't going to work right now. And whether it's closing their doors and restarting eventually down the road. But I think that the key thing is going to be, especially like as we kind of grow, who is smart enough to like, did they just make it through, or are they going to be able to sustain through and be able to adapt in case there's something else that happens down the road?
Yeah, like there were a lot of variables that, like, for a lot of the businesses that kind of shuttered their doors, like probably like a high percentage was like stuff that was just not in their control, right? Like I've heard landlords not taking the 70 of whatever the percentage was. From government for the rent, and just issues, and like some people are saying like, nope, we just can't. They were just doing the wrong business sense. They just, by the time they figured out what they needed to do, they were so far in the hole. They're like, okay, we can't take ourselves out. Let's either shut down and then we'll start up again when things get better. Like jiu-jitsu gyms, martial arts gyms, like all over. Like I know in Brampton there was a few that completely shuttered down. There was a Taekwondo place by this one pizza place my kids like, and I went to get pizza one day, and I just went there and I was looking around and I didn't see like their big red sign. I didn't see their pictures of the kids in their gis. So part of it is that, probably is just, other part is just bad business sense too. Like they don't know. And then the others are, they tried and it just, you know what? It just, the stars weren't aligned. Like maybe people just didn't want to get stuff from them. For you guys as personal trainers, I know that, and I watch enough breakfast television over the past couple of years. Like you see personal trainers, they do like their little thing on to advertise themselves. And I'm sure you guys have worked with your clients online, and you've adapted, right? You guys, everyone's gotten by with what they needed to get done. I think what will happen is as we move forward into past this next phase, like once COVID is in the rearview mirror, and we're all kind of happy, joy. We're all getting together. We're giving each other hugs and cool. I think everything that we've done up to this point, we're not going to go completely back to the way it was before. I think it's going to be a full-on mix of what is happening. Yeah, sure, everything could be safe, but if I could talk to one of you guys and help me train over Zoom, and I don't have to drive to the gym, and I can use everything I got here at the house, why would I want to do that, right?
Yeah.
If like for my business, my stuff, initially I was looking for clients in Toronto, in the GTA, right? Someplace where I can drive, no problem. Yeah, there was the odd time I can probably get a sales call for a guy in Quebec or in BC or even somewhere down in the States. Awesome. But I would have to fly out. I'd have to deal with all that stuff. Now I can do everything through Zoom. I can do everything in my chair where I'm sitting right now. And every single thing I can do it from here. Eventually, yeah, I'm going to want to go out to customer sites, and they're probably going to want me to come out to their sites, but no one has any interest yet. So I don't have to change all that much. And then once things come out and I start teaching my courses like in a classroom, great, I can do that. I got everything all set up.
Are these some trends that you're going to see like in the future as well? Like, you're talking about even like in your field, like a large majority of your work you can probably do at home right now, and you're starting to see that like even in like the fitness industry. Like I can call somebody on Zoom, or I can call somebody on FaceTime, and we go through a workout, kind of like what you mentioned. Is that kind of like the future of, the martial arts industry, the fitness industry, your industry? Like, is there going to be a lot more gearing towards like online content, or do you see it still kind of being like a mix of both? Or you people at the end of the day, I think, when it comes to jiu-jitsu, like myself personally, I like, going to a gym and training with other people and having a social interaction, which I think, a lot of people have missed, and you can't get that hanging out in your basement like we've all been doing the last like year and a half. Some more than others.
I got my mats here, man. I'm good. No, I okay. If we look at jiu-jitsu first, right? Like, I see like a mix of Zoom, like online stuff and classes. No, I think like you said, like people would rather go in and do stuff, right? Like that's like the camaraderie, the relieving of stress. Like when we opened back up, like I was a stress ball for a little bit. Like that first class, now mind you, as a 47-year-old guy, I shouldn't have done what I did in that first class, because I behaved like I was in 2019, not in the COVID weight gain, not doing a whole heck of a lot because I burned out my shoulder. So the next day I was feeling like I
got to be careful. You got to be careful with that. Plus, like, you don't want to go to ultra heavyweight like Aaron has.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love it.
Aaron's thick.
Yeah. But no, I think for jiu-jitsu, I think that will probably go back. That will go back to normal. I don't think we will go back to Zoom classes. I think that will change. If you look at other martial arts like karate and taekwondo, where most of the stuff is probably patterns, that I can see probably a mix of both.
Oh, right? Some karate schools listening to you right now and just punching their screen. Did he
they're just doing patterns into the screen.
Did he just say that?
Okay,
oh my God.
Hey, before everyone,
this guy Jeremy.
Jerry is a Taekwondo black belt.
I'm a third dan Taekwondo black belt. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a mix. Like there is still going to be points where you want to come in and punch someone in the face, or kick someone in the face. You're still going to need that interaction. Like jiu-jitsu is a little bit different. It's like all our stuff, we need a partner. We need someone to do something too, right? We need to attempt to do stuff. And it's, and if we think about it, like, again, like if we go back, like with the stuff I do for Agile, like it's really great kind of mindset is when you go to a tournament, yeah, we all have to have our game plan. We all have our parameters, our guidelines is where we want to go. Do they go according to plan each and every match? Nope. Do you change up after a match? Yep. That's no different than, say, someone in a scrum team, they do a sprint or they do one iteration. They figured something out. They got to do some changes when they do the next one. So if I even like Taekwondo for sparring, right? Anything where there's any sort of combat, you're going to have to adapt each and every fight and how you go. You're never going to do the same thing twice. If you do, then whoever's in your bracket, they're all falling asleep because they're not catching what's going on.
You got that, Aaron. You can't spazzing toe hold everybody.
Yeah, I know.
BJJ fanatics coming soon. We're shooting a DVD right now. We're gonna spend it
from all different angles.
Toe holds from everywhere.
Everything. Toe holds from mount. Toe holds from close guard. Everything.
Toe holds from the bottom of north south.
Yeah.
It's gonna spin into it. It's just every position.
Hey, I've gotten caught with a toe hold when I had Lonnie's back.
Toe hold from the back.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's Lonnie Jiu-Jitsu. That's a whole other issue right there. But yeah, I think everything will change. I don't think we'll be back to the way it was in 2019. It won't be full on like that. I think probably if we think about it from a percentage perspective, like 80-20. I think 20% there'll still be stuff online, right? 80% is you're going in. Like, it's great that like I have my fitness equipment here. I have a tractor tire in the back. I have my sledgehammer. I have all that fun stuff. I have my 90-pound American Bulldog who I practice my guard retention with as he tries to chew my face off. That's good. It helped me out a bit, but it doesn't help. It's a lot different when I'm rolling with Mike. Like Mike's not trying to chew my face off, but he is trying to rip my arm.
Sometimes I am.
Well, you do whisper sweet nothings in my ear every once in a while, but that's a whole other story.
And you can whisper sweet nothings to your significant other's ear with Manscaped after you're all done and you're dolphin smooth, right, Aaron?
Yes. We don't have to put those ad reads in. We're fine.
We got
it done.
We got it done. Hashtag dolphin smooth, Manscaped.
But when the gyms opened up and I started training again, I actually went to Good Life. I went to my gym, like first time in 18 months. And it was a good feeling to walk in. One, to see all the weights. Like now, if I want to deadlift 300 pounds, I can go deadlift 300 pounds. I don't have 300 pounds in my house. If I want to do like a good set of bench press with a heavy weight, I can. I'm probably not going to do that anytime soon. I'm going to work my way back up again, age and bones and creaking, but it was a good feeling to see that happen. It's a good feeling to walk around the mall and see people walking around the mall again. It's, and some people not wearing their mask properly and fun stuff like that, but hey, that's their problem. As long as I'm wearing my mask, and I feel safe, I feel safe. And I think that's where we're just going to go. I think it's just going to be, I don't think we're going to be full on like what it was in 2019.
No, I don't think so either.
Christmas this year, like, do I see the malls and stores going a little crazy?
Probably
No.
crazier than like they've been like recently, but like maybe not like full out 2019 Christmas.
No,
maybe not at that level.
Well, even then, I think like here in Brampton, the mall didn't seem that busy. Mind you, I got most of my stuff done beforehand. But yeah, you're not going to see full parking lots. You're not going to see. You're
not going to see Pohada at Bramalea City Center.
You're not going to see Pohada in Bramalea City Center. I don't think you're going to see Pohada in most malls. Now, mind you, I drove by Yorkdale when they started opening things up, and that parking lot just looks scary. Because I don't know how they're tracking people in that place. But
it's a place like that's always rammed, but it's a major commuter spot because of like the subways there.
Yeah, subways there
going in there. So a lot of people would park there for the day and then they're taking the subway down to town or whatever. So,
but it's just it's still to me it's a little unnerving, right? Like I just like give my head a shake. It's like, nope, I'm definitely I never liked going in Yorkdale to begin with, but seeing that now is like, nope, not going in.
What I want to touch base with you on one thing. We're talking about a lot of like online content since this is a jiu-jitsu podcast, kind of like a fitness podcast. You do a lot of business consulting.
Yep.
Like, what would you suggest to people that are listening to this, or even for like me and Aaron, for when it comes to like content, creating an online presence, getting more, more businesses to pay attention to you, like what are some kind of points from your perspective that you would suggest to people that are listening to this?
Have me on more often.
Okay, well, besides that, like I don't think we have the money to pay your consulting fees right now. So
yeah, exactly. We're still working on sponsorship, buddy. We're not there yet. Like I said at the beginning, we're not making YouTube money.
We're not making YouTube yet. But the goal is to make the YouTube money, so that way we can pay.
And then get a boxing fight for a few $1 million.
Oh, if
maybe.
I can, maybe
I'll fucking jump in the ring and fucking get my shit kicked for fucking 60 million. No problem.
I'll box Floyd Mayweather for 20 million.
Yeah. Well, I think for getting the it's the important thing out of like for any business is understanding who your audience is, right? Like for podcast, like you go to any sort of marketing guru type class or take a whole, like you read a book, they'll say things like avatar, right? Like who's your avatar? Like, and there was one book and course I took back last year, and he's saying that most organizations, they focus on one type of avatar. So like you guys are like for the like Choking Hazard podcast, like Choking Hazard, you put jiu-jitsu, we're all jiu-jitsu guys, and that's great. And your audience, you already know it's a broad audience because there's a lot of people that do jiu-jitsu. There's a lot of people that are into fitness. Now, if you're to do a podcast or content for underwater basket weaving, then you really have to find out what type of people would want to listen to your podcast and want to see your content. And that's like I have 9 avatars for my business. Some people say, oh, you just need one. It's like, no, I have 9 because that was just based on that course. And it's all different people, but they all lead into the same thing. So like I have one avatar, I have John, who's a CTO, who's pissed off because his software delivery is running into problems. There's always issues on the back end. There's customers complaining. He's getting pressure from all sides to make things better. And I forget the name of the avatar I gave, but I have a marketing executive that wants to streamline their processes and streamline their work so that they're getting ahead of the game and not kind of following the pack, right? They want to jump ahead of the pack on any sort of marketing coming in so that they can get the better clients. It's understanding those avatars. That's what's really going to help drive out your content. And for me, when I did that, you guys aren't on my LinkedIn, but if you look on my LinkedIn page, like
not gonna lie, Jer, I'm on LinkedIn like once a year. Yeah. I should probably be on there a little bit more, but LinkedIn is not a place for you to get your clients, right? Not necessarily, no. Yeah. I see what you mean. For you, on the other hand, you're going to be using LinkedIn a lot more to connect with the higher up corporate people versus me and Aaron. Who the hell are we connecting with?
We're doing a lot of our business based on like whether it being social media, YouTube, different like
we're using other social media means, not LinkedIn.
Exactly, not LinkedIn, right?
Yeah, and you got to find. And one of the clients I've worked with, like they would sit there as like, oh, we're using Scrum, like this is all we're doing, we're good. And my question always back, because he was always complaining, it's like, hey, this isn't working, this isn't working. It's like, well, are you sure Scrum is the only thing you should use? And it like after the wires kind of crossed and touched and the smoke came out of the ears trying to figure out what I meant, was the frameworks are tools. That's all they are. They are just tools. And if you don't have the right tools in your toolbox for your for different teams, then you're almost like you're trying to hammer in a screw. Not going to work. For you guys, from a social media perspective, like you got YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram, I would imagine. I don't know if you have a Twitter account also, but even
we do. Aaron's
okay, all right. But you got
It's where I do my controversial work.
you got those 4 things. That's how you're going to reach the audience that you guys want to reach. For me, like I have my business page on LinkedIn, and I do stuff on LinkedIn. You guys have seen some of my posts on Facebook that I send out to the public, and then you see my friends post as well. But I have my business on Facebook, and I have a Twitter account, which is linked up to my LinkedIn. So anything I do on LinkedIn, it goes out to my Twitter account. I focus more on LinkedIn and Twitter than I do on Facebook. And usually what I do on Facebook, really in all honesty, is I will sit there, I'll just copy whatever I do on LinkedIn and paste it in Facebook under my business or under my own. And then if it's under my business, then I share it with a bunch of other groups. But I focus more on LinkedIn. If you guys focus on your right areas, that's the right thing. You're using the right tools for what you need to get business done. And I think that's where a lot of businesses, that's where they probably have struggled over the past little while is like, and I've seen it. And most of the time I was interested, okay, let me take a look into this. Let me see, like, yeah, I'm sort of struggling right now. And you get this ad on Facebook because Google and Facebook are listening to me on my phone. And they say, hey, we're going to put these ads on. And I would see these ads. I'd go to all these webinars like, this is great. And I would start trying stuff. And it just, it didn't mesh with how I speak as a person or how I behave or how I act. It didn't fit with my business model. It seemed like you could tell it was almost robotic on some of the stuff. And it just didn't work. And then I went back to some of my marketing books when I did my MBA, and it was right there in the book. It's like, you do what you need to do that is based on your values and based on your company, not what anyone else is telling you. Like, they may tell you some good stuff, take bits and pieces, but don't take it all. Take what works for you.
Is that kind of like your jiu-jitsu philosophy? You take what works for you. Don't just
yeah.
pick,
are you going to see me Berriault? Like, that's going to be a complete and utter freak accident if that ever happens. But yeah, like
I would probably run and go get like the paddles to. I'd be like, something's wrong with him. Something's going on.
Get
Officer.
the AED out and give him a shock.
Get the defib.
Yeah.
But he probably broke his neck halfway through.
Well, and that's exactly, if you go, like when I went to World Masters back, I think it was 4 years ago, when I dropped down to 168 pounds. I was so focused on dropping my weight. I got a trainer, I got a nutritionist. Obviously, I think I got the wrong trainer and nutritionist, because when I went to them, I told them my goal was I wanted to be a solid 190. You should have hired this guy named Aaron Gall here. Yeah, I should have looked more into some other people.
Breaking necks and cashing checks.
Yeah. But what happened was they got me so excited about dropping the weight. I dropped so much weight. I went down 2 divisions. And when I went into fight one, Mike, if you remember, I looked like Skeletor, as some people have said. Like, I was dirt thin.
I wanted to give you money to sponsor you as a child. For just $1 a day, you can feed a starving Jeremy.
For the price of coffee, you can make Jeremy eat something.
Eat something.
Yeah, and when I went in to fight, my head was all the way through. It's like, hey, I can fight like a light guy now. I can do all this stuff. I went in and it went south real bad. Like I think I got collar dragged and my head bounced off the mat. Danny thought I was knocked out because I hit so hard.
I can see
Aaron,
that.
shut up. It's not funny. It's not funny. Such a dick, Aaron.
And
you see what I have to work with?
Yeah.
I have compassion. It happens. Well, we've all had our days.
Yeah, and I finished off the fight. I was not knocked out. Luckily, everything was fine. I went into my favorite spot, half guard, and then the guy came in, he passed it, Ezekiel'd me, and that was that. But like that. I should have realized, like, hey, I can't fight like a light guy. Like, I'm not. I think up until that point, I've been training probably 8 years, 7 years or so. And for those 7 years, I was fighting like a heavyweight, medium heavy, sometimes ultra heavy, just because you would have like VJ, God rest his soul, texted me 2 days before a tournament, 3 days before a tournament, say, hey, you're not signed up. Do you want to fight? and we fought 5 times in that one tournament. I think, Mike, you thought one of us was going to die.
That was I think it was a GTA Classic one year.
It was a GTA Classic. Yes.
I think I have a story with this. So I think it was like a best of 7 with like you and VJ. And I think
best of 7. Oh my god!
It was a best of 7. So the way it would work is I think VJ, rest in peace, went up to one of the organizers with Jeremy. He's like, hey, why don't we make like each, because it was only those two in the division and in the absolute. So they're like, why don't we do a best of 3 of like each one? He's like, what the hell? We're here. Why don't we just have a bunch of matches?
Yeah.
Like it was basically turned into like the World Series of like the senior circuit in Ontario.
That's hilarious.
And then I think in the first match, like I was watching, I remember it was like me, Nathan DeSantos watching, VJ and Jer fighting. And then I think in between, between one match and the second, it's like Nathan I think VJ was saying something. Okay, so that's 1 of 7 so far. And then Nathan's like, those guys are going to seriously fight 7 times. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. Just make sure there's a medic on standby. He just busted out laughing. He's like, no, seriously, they're not going to fight 7 times, are they? I'm like, looks like it.
In the end, we fought 5.
Yeah.
So
5 is still pretty good.
Yeah. When we fought in the ultra heavy division, it was 1-1, and then VJ got the last one. And then when we got to absolutes, I was almost burned out just trying to deal with his weight, and he beat me in the 2 other times. But that was for me trying to adapt on that. That was definitely fun. I think when I learned out of the first one that I could throw VJ, I could do a suicide throw, and I think that freaked the hell out of everyone when I did it. Because like it even freaked me out because like I did it, valley drop, brought him over, and he just launched over across. If I didn't keep my grips, he would have just probably kept rolling down like 3 mats.
So one of Aaron's favorite questions that he likes to ask competitors. So what's your mindset when you're going into a match like that where you're doing like a best of 7? A competitor maybe significantly larger than you. What's your mindset, Jer?
My mindset, I think when I was like a white and blue belt and low purple, I tried to just psych myself up. Like I just tried to I'm going to go in there. Here's my game plan. Yeah, I'm going to do this. And I think when I got to brown, and then black, I was a little more chill. It was more kind of like, all right, I have my idea. I have my guidelines. Like I said, from an agile perspective, I have my guidelines of what I can and can't do. Let's go ahead and do it. And I think the best match I've ever had was the Ontario Open 2018, I think it was, where I was fighting brown black, and I fought the other competitor was a guy that beat the bejesus out of me in a tournament a couple years before. And he was a black belt, I was a brown belt. We went in, and really in that fight, like when I recognized who he was, I'm like, oh shit, this is the guy that killed me. Like, oh my God. But I didn't let the panic take over. I just more was like, okay, do you want to what? He beats me. I'm going to go in and do what I can. I beat him. I choked him out. Peter Constantine, now he loves fighting against me in tournaments because he'll always say, he's like, Jeremy likes to scrap. Jeremy just goes in there and he scraps. He doesn't care whether he wins or loses. If I win a medal, Mike, I know you've seen this.
Jared's here to scrap, drop the gloves like Pete Constantine used to do back in the day. Jersey somebody.
Well, no, but like
you're here to throw hands.
Throw hands. Yes, no, but I'm there to fight. And like if I win a medal, great. I go on the podium, everyone takes a picture. Okay, cool, awesome. Once I step off, the medal's off. It's in my bag. I show my kids when I get home, and that's about it. I don't walk around showing, say, hey, I won a gold medal, or hey, I won a silver. I just like that medal goes down. That's all right. I thank everyone on Facebook saying, hey, I won. Cool. I'm going to train for the next one. But yeah, that's how I go about it now. Like Peter, the good story about that. We're fighting in a tournament. He hates my deep half. Every time I see him, he just sits there. He's like, I hate your deep half. I hate your deep half. And we're going through a fight, and I'm in deep half. I'm trying to get him off balance. I'm trying to get the sweep. I got an advantage for one sweep attempt, and we kept going on. And all I hear is Peter saying, would you shut up? And I'm looking up at him. I'm like, are you talking? I'm not saying anything. And so I keep fighting for a bit. And he goes, for crying out loud, would you shut up? I'm trying. I'm like, all right, well, he's not talking about me. So we fought. In the end, he won by an advantage in that fight. And we shook hands. We got off the mat. And I'm like, going, who were you talking to when we were fighting? I wasn't saying anything. He goes, I was talking to Marco. Marco kept telling me to do stuff, but you weren't letting me do it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So next time you talk during a match, you're talking about Marco. Awesome. All right, cool.
That's funny.
That's probably like one of my favorite like things like coaching is like, you know, you're in the middle of doing something and you're about to do it, and then your coach yells like the exact technique, and the guy that you're competing against is like, oh yeah, he's gonna do that, and then you just kind of counter it. It's the most annoying thing I've ever had. I'm like,
yeah,
I've had people I think you know our professor Danny has done that to me a few times. I'm like, will you shut the fuck up? I'm trying to do something here. You just told the guy I'm competing against, hey, you know that thing that you're about to do, yeah, go do it. And he starts setting up a defense for it. It's like, thanks, man. Like, thanks for
at least Danny tells you.
Yeah, he tell well, like you know what I mean though, like
yeah.
It's good like you have coaches that are trying to like help you out. They're like, hey,
yeah.
They're trying to tell you, they're trying to show you the things that maybe you don't see at that time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's kind of like alerting your opponent that you're going to do something potentially.
Well,
yeah, and the big catch-22.
And Danny's done that. Well, he didn't do that to me. He did this. He did the exact opposite. He didn't tell me what he wanted me to do. He was trying to show me. I was in one scrap.
Fucking put your head there, you fuck.
Massa Paul!
He didn't even say that. We sat there, and it was funny because we're like, I knew what he wanted. Like, I knew what he was trying to get. He was trying to, like, he didn't want to let on, hey, Jeremy, I want you to do this, right? He was trying to, like, he's giving me the eyes and he kind of look at what I'm doing. And he starts doing these hand signals and he's doing stuff like this. And I'm like,
it's like Mr. Burns on The Simpsons. It's like, all right, now when I pull my cap, not once, not twice, but thrice, you're going to do this. And I want you to swing. But if I start doing this, it's a fake.
Needless to say, I didn't do what they wanted me to do. And I go up after him, I was like, what were you trying? Wait, I wanted you to take your lapel and wrap it around and do this. I'm like, how much? Like, to the Mr. Burns thing is like, sure, okay, cool. I'll remember that for next time.
How was I supposed to know that from this?
But even as like from a coaching perspective, again, I'm going to keep falling back from an agile. Like, we've all three of us has coached. Like, we've coached kids, we've coached adults, we've coached teenagers, and you don't coach the kid the same way. Like, you don't even coach the same kid, each kid the same way, right? We gotta change things up and move around.
Everybody's different. Everybody has different personalities.
Like,
it's not a one size fit all approach.
Yeah, like at World Masters 2 years ago, when I was helping coach. I forget her name. Blue belt from Barry. She won.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Name slips my mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Her moment in the sun. Oh, she won a tournament. Doesn't matter.
You won gold from World Masters. Cool. No, but when
Aaron clearly doesn't care about females winning jiu-jitsu tournaments.
Whoa.
Clearly.
Dark.
Sexism.
But the way I treated it, but the way I treated it was I just I gave her a quick game plan for her first match, and like we went through it, and she told me what she wanted to do. I had that in my head, and I let her go, and I gave her like a yell, whatever I could. And then when she won the first match and she went off, I stayed back and watched the next two, like whoever was going to win, who was going to fight in the final. And I watched the fight. I saw the person won. And I just went right back to her saying, this is your game plan. This is what you're going to do, A, B, and C, right? If this doesn't work, then do this. If this doesn't work, do this. If nothing works, reset and start over. And she went in. She didn't do everything. She didn't do everything I told her to do, but she at least had the goal. Like I told her she needed a takedown, right? I didn't care how she did the takedown. She just needed to do a takedown. And then after that, she can use the pressure to stay on top. She tried a couple takedowns, didn't work. And then she got one takedown, like an inside leg trip. And from there, she just fought in half guard for another like 3.5 minutes. She won gold because she won 2-0. So it was that sort of change, because before she was thinking about pulling guard. And she put that restriction on her where if I would have let it go, maybe it would have worked. But from what I saw, what the risk and what the other person can do, I saw the other person can't fight well, can not fight as well on her back as what she could fight on top. So,
Agile coaching applies everywhere. Jiu-jitsu,
well,
business world. You adapt the game plan on the fly, and there you go.
Like you don't like Mike. I'm not gonna go deep half on you because like deep half, you know all the stuff to get out of it or to make my life miserable. If I do attempt it, it's just me thinking it's like, okay, let's see what happens if I can catch him this way. Like I try to catch you some way, but most of the time I can't because it's probably coming. Right. I'm going to try.
That's like a catch-22 even as well. Like if like, hey, this is your strong position. This is probably your best bet against, let's say like competing in general, like this is the spot you want to be. That's the spot you're going to need to get to. Yeah. If somebody's better than you in that position and they're just better than you in that position, they got your number there. And like if you're fighting to your strengths and if it doesn't go your way, it doesn't go your way. It's happened to me. It's happened to you. Yeah. It's happened to Aaron when he tries to spazzing toe hold people and it doesn't work. It happens to all of us.
Yeah, but you at least have to know everything else, some other stuff to get either out or to get into something else, right? Like I said, Berriault, that's like, if it happens, it happens. I know how to do it. I think
you should change your game.
Yeah.
I think this is what you should be throwing out from now on. That's what I think. You're a black belt now, man. Just do it.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You need to work on your modern jiu-jitsu game. This is what it's about.
Yeah, no.
No.
I know it. I can do it. It's my plan Z.
Can I interest you in a lapel?
Oh, hey, I'll play with lapels all day.
Lapels are great. One more thing. Like let's have some fun here. Last year and a half, a lot of things have happened. There's been a whole. Me and Aaron discussed this multiple times online. There's been a whole whack of stuff that you've seen online, posting conspiracy theories, this and that. You don't have to name names of anybody or anything, but like, what are some things that you've seen this year where you're just like, either A, like, what the fuck is this, or B, this is so utterly ridiculous that I don't understand where this is coming from. Well, like, what comes to mind?
Oh, the tinfoil. The tinfoil
hat.
hat.
Like what's your favorite like tinfoil hat stuff, or just like interesting conversations that you've seen or heard people have in the last like year and a half?
Well, I think like for me, I'm a numbers guy. Like I love stats. I think I'm one of the very few people that might actually like look at a spreadsheet and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Let's play around with this. I think it was when everything was going on when the pandemic first started and people started rhyming off like just numbers. Like they're just sitting there as like, wow, like, well, it's 99.998% recoverable. And it's like, well, where are you getting that from? And they're taking these two numbers and just coming up with a basic percentage. And it was stuff like that just kind of made my head shake. Like, I'm not a doctor. I don't pretend to be. I don't like. Yes, I have a couple pieces of paper on the wall, but they're more about business and psychology.
I don't pretend to be a doctor either. Aaron doesn't either. We just tell people how to lift weights for a living sometimes.
Yeah.
So
what
do we know?
Some nutritional advice, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, and I just tell people like, hey, how to do stuff better and how to get rid of some of the waste in what you're doing. But it was looking at those numbers, and like I got sucked into so many stupid Facebook arguments.
Such as
Come on, we've seen a couple of them, just like going through, like reading the comments of the comments, and like we're not gonna like ruin your story or anything like that, but like what were like some of your favorite ones?
Some of my favorite ones. Well, probably the best one was, there was one argument where we were going at it, like they were calling me almost every name under the sun, and I'm like, hey, but you're not proving your point. Where's your proof? Oh, the proof's in these numbers. Okay, show me. Like, treat me like a 5-year-old and show me your work. Where are you getting these numbers from? And it just like, it got so insulting. Like, they were just trying to beat me down. And it got to a point where I just turned into like a huge troll. I'm like, oh, let me see how far I can get this guy pissed off. And like, I think a couple of them took me off Facebook, and really I didn't care. I was like, great, cool, you're done. But it was the emotion everyone, like people had. Like, I understand it was a scary time, and like no one knew what to do, but it was just how people reverted to like almost like high school-ish type stuff where they're just kind of going through. And like they're going to Dr. YouTube, and they're seeing all these stupid videos, and like they're just taking that information and spouting it off. And most like towards the middle part of 2020, I just sat there and said, all right, cool, I'm just going to start debunking, and like anyone that shares anything, I'm just going to go on there and debunk it. And I would start debunking it, and then that would start a whole argument. And then I think towards the end, I just started, I got a picture of a sheep, and anytime anyone posted something stupid like that, I just put a picture of a sheep and walk away. But
Aaron, have you posted anything sheep related recently?
No, not recently.
Well, it was just, yeah, like it was, for me, it got to the point where I was getting so sucked in, like it was an anxious time, and I was suffering from anxiety. I was suffering from some depression throughout the whole thing at the initial part, where like it just consumed me. And it got to the point where like this past year, I said, do you know what? I tried. I came out in the New Year's, like, do you know what? My New Year's resolution, I'm going to be nice. I'm not going to fall into any rabbit holes. I'm not going to.
Jared, you tried that like 10 times on the previous like 10 New Year's. Yeah. I'm gonna be nice this year.
I tried that.
January 7th rolls around. You're like, fuck it.
Well, and yeah, but I fell I fell into that trap, and I was just like, okay, do you know what? Forget this. I thought what's linking all this together is my old account. So I had my current Facebook account set up for my business, so it's more public and people can see it. So I just deleted my old account. I moved most of my friends over. The ones that I just decided, do you know what? You're of no value. It's like, cool, we're still friends, but from a Facebook perspective, you're not providing.
Man, why you gotta do Aaron like that?
Oh, Aaron's on my Facebook. We're good.
You made the list. But
made the list. I know. I only put I comment on Jared's stuff where I'm like, he's like some physical attributes that he says he's gonna do. I'm like, Jared will die if he tries to do that.
The guy that did the backflip to get out of to pass the guard.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I saw that, and he's like, what would you at the line? I'm like, you will die as you hit your head crushes into the mat and you break your neck.
Oh, and
then Lonnie's gonna roll over top of you because you're like, oh, I took position. but you're already dead, and he just kind of roll you over more.
Yeah, like when I post, I'll post stuff like that just to not to troll, but just as like from a fun point of perspective, right?
No,
like,
that's talking shit. That's just having fun.
Yeah, no, and that's just it. Like I'm going on there, I'm just having fun. And like any of the ones that I've moved over, if they do turn into tinfoil hats, then you know what? See ya. Like we could still be friends. Just because you're not on my Facebook friends list doesn't mean that we're friends outside in the real world.
Social media friends are, that's it. Apparently, it's all the only friends you got.
If you're not on the friends list, you're dead to me.
Yeah, well, I think people should kind of change their values for stuff like that. But
yeah, honestly, like I don't care. Like I've had people say who knows what to me over the last year and a half. I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna wake up and I don't know, like work and do what I'm gonna do anyway. If you want to spend your time on Facebook,
well, yeah,
do it or on social media. You know, doing whatever you think is productive, then go for it. I guess like.
Yeah, we all have lives.
I don't judge.
Yeah. But we all have lives outside of our phone and laptops and desktops.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I just started treating it that now, and like I know I've seen a couple kind of tinfoilish hat type posts come up every once in a while, and I get a twitch. I start doing this where I want to post something, but it's like nope, just ignore it, and I'll walk away. Like I think the stupid arguments are done now. I think I'm okay with stupid arguments with you guys because these arguments are fun to have. We're actually laughing, but yeah, I think that's a whole other kettle of fish. That whatever.
A whole other kettle of fish. I think we're gonna end it on that, right, Aaron?
I think so.
Good old
kettle of fish.
Good old kettle of
who your
fish.
friends are.
Shoot your shoot, Jer. Shoot your shoot.
So yeah, guys, thanks for having me on. Anyone that wants to know more about Agile and stuff, like how to help out your company, your team, anything like that, you can go to Berriault and Associates.com. We have a wide ranging of different skills. We even have a Valerie. You guys know Valerie. We have her on to help out with mental health in the workplace. And I have a couple courses. Some of them are online. Some of them I can do virtual, like through Zoom. But yeah, like I have a lot of stuff. I even wrote a book. I wrote a book in 2020 or 2021. Sorry, it got published in 2021. It's called The Root Cause Analysis. I know it is an exciting book. I'm sure you guys will buy it.
No. Looks like it. Well, again, like when we talk about everything that you talked about, like coaching wise and all that, like these are important tools that people are going to need. Everybody learns different, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's just like with the root cause analysis book, I talk about how to use numbers, mostly numbers, to make improvements going along, right? Not just going with emotion. Taking something that's really quantitative and measuring against it and making the right decisions. Now, there are some decisions that do require emotion or some qualitative stuff. Like I'm sure you guys have your stats where you get your Facebook, your posts that say like, oh, that interview with Jeremy sucked. You can delete those.
I'm deleting all those comments if they come out. Like, no.
It's yeah. So it's stuff that I like doing. I love helping people become better at what they do. Right. I like looking in from the outside, getting that view to help and say, do you want to know what? 90% of your stuff, you're doing great. You guys are awesome at what you do. Here's a couple of small changes that's just going to take you to that next step, that next level, right? That's what I love to do. I love solving problems. One book I read is like, say that you're a problem lover. And I'm like, all right, how about I just say I like solving them? I like taking a problem, fixing it, and then giving the right, helping get the right solution. Because a problem lover, that could be taken the wrong way.
Yeah, sounds a little bit.
We're trying not to get canceled here, Jer, okay?
Yeah, I know. I got to make a decision now. Do I edit this part of the podcast? I'm joking.
But no, this has been great, guys. Thanks.
Oh, no, Jeremy, it's been awesome. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure. Hope we can train eventually soon. And then, yeah, man, it's time for the next steps, right?
Yep. Oh, hey, I just noticed your T-shirt too.
Yeah.
Man.
By the way, there you go.
Great. Yeah, that's right.
So remember, if you
Manscaped.com.
want 20% off CH Podcast, you're going to use that promo code.
Dolphin balls.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good one.
Thanks.